And we're live. Welcome to the Summit 8 finale from Startup TNT. I'm Mike Woolsfeld, the Saskatchewan lead with Startup TNT.
And I'm Hassan Nakri, the Regina lead for TNT, and we're coming to you live from Vendasta headquarters, downtown Saskatoon. Another great location for us, new one. Thanks very much to Vendasta for hosting us here at the top of the town.
I'm so excited to be in this space here tonight on this stage with the company that in many ways set the stage for what's about to happen tonight. So tonight we'll listen to 5 founders telling us the story of their journey thus far and where they're going. The power of storytelling connects us, inspires us, and brings us together in this place tonight. In the spirit of reconciliation and honoring the narratives that have shaped this land, we acknowledge the Indigenous peoples who are the original storytellers of these territories, the Cree, Dene, Saulteaux, Nakota, and the homeland of the Métis Nation, and all the peoples who make their homes in the Treaty 6 region of Saskatchewan.
In this journey of creativity and innovation, let us remember that the stories we tell have the power to shape our world, and embark on this evening with deep respect for the land, the stories, and the peoples. At TNT, we aim to always create a safe space for all Indigenous communities. Tonight, we honor their tradition of gathering the community and sharing stories with each other.
All right, and here's what we are up to tonight. Right now, we are in the introductions and welcome. Very quickly, we'll be headed into the pitches, and you'll hear from the top 5 companies here tonight. After that, the investors will move to another room to deliberate. You'll have a quick break, and then we'll head into a very special panel discussion organized by our hosts here at Vendasta, moderated by Brendan King himself, the CEO of Vendasta. You're in for a treat. Then at about 7:45, we'll come back on stage and announce the winner live on stage. And then we'll have some networking time, some celebration, then headed into the after party at Congress.
That's right, Mike. What an amazing evening we have planned for you all tonight. And to remember that evening, we have a special treat. Memory Keeper, one of our winners from our very first Saskatchewan Summit, is providing us with a QR code that you can scan to help save your memories and videos. So everyone take a moment, take out your cell phone, scan the QR code. It may not work on this screen, but you can use one of the side screens that are around this room to scan the code and save your memories. I'll just leave it on there for a few minutes, for a few seconds.
All right, and none of this here tonight would be possible without our Summit partners and sponsors. We've got our best friends forever, API and CBRE, our best friends, MNP, RBCX, BDC, Boast, Infinity Shred, McKercher, Sask Startup Institute, Shrita, and Chess Club. And of course, our core funding partners. None of this would be possible without funding from Innovation Saskatchewan and Prairies Can. And there's our community supporters there as well, and close friends who do a lot of amazing work with us to help support the TNT community. And of course, we want to have a special thanks to Vendasta for having us in this space, being partners and organizing the panel tonight. And before we get into what's up next, I want to welcome up to the stage our community development lead. You know him very well, Jesse Weeb. Come on up.
Come on, Jesse, everybody give it up.
Yes! I am so amped. All right. I don't even know if I need the mic. I am so amped to be here tonight to talk a little bit about the impact that we've had here at Startup TNT over the last couple of years. I ran the very first summit 2 years ago for Startup TNT at Boffin's at Innovation Place. And of course, we couldn't do it without our core funding partner, Innovation Saskatchewan. And to help us talk through the impact that we've had over the last couple of years, I'd like to bring up Avery Vold, director at, what's the title?
Vice President of Economic Development and Research Investment.
Hey, of course Mike would know. There you go. All right. Give you a mic, though. There we go. Yes. All right. So let's take a look at this impact slide here. So over 153 angels from across the prairies have invested in 23 companies, totaling actually 2.9 million. We double-checked the number today. It actually went up just a little bit. What do you got to say about those impact stats, Avery?
Well, very impressed. You know, I've been up here a few times where I speak about how impressed I've been with Startup TNT and the impact they've made on our tech ecosystem in a very short period of time. But I was telling Jesse, is this on? Okay, sorry, couldn't tell. That I also wanted to mention the impact that they're making, a bit more behind the scenes.
Ooh.
Yes, very. But I just wanted to say they're very generous with their time and expertise, and I think that's something that's really reflective of the whole startup community and the whole tech ecosystem in general in Saskatchewan, and something that makes it really special. But whether it's Startup TNT, anyone here volunteering their time and expertise to, let's say, the U of R and helping develop an entrepreneurial boot camp, or connecting different founders with investors outside of yours, or anytime I ask any one of these Startup TNT folks to meet with anyone who may be interested in tech, you always say yes. And I think that is very characteristic of Startup TNT, but of the whole ecosystem, and something that helps us grow.
Yeah, let's give it up for SK Tech. All right, give a round of applause for that. Right, these companies have actually created dozens of jobs and millions of dollars in revenue over the last couple of years since we've invested in them, and we couldn't do it without some of the support programs. One of the most important programs, right? Which one is that?
The Saskatchewan Technology Startup Incentive. So that is our Angel Investment Tax Credit Program, which I'm sure most folks here are aware of, but it is one of the most competitive tax credit programs in Canada.
Amen. Thank you so much for that, Avery, and thanks for all your support. We really seriously couldn't do it without you.
Well,
Give it up for Innovation Saskatchewan. All right, let's talk about the big impact, guys. Come on stage. All right, let's look at those numbers, Hassan? It's a pretty crazy number.
That is amazing. Look at that, almost $12 million of capital raised.
Yeah, what I love seeing there is 340 investors plus have invested with Startup TNT. We've collected over 1,500 individual checks, right? Our investors write a $5,000 check initially. They're going to talk a little bit more about how the whole process works, but then they get a chance to write even more checks into the companies, and we've collected a whole whack of them to invest in all 84 companies there on the logo wall. And we got such interesting companies on this logo wall, don't we?
That's right. We got companies from all over the prairies: Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan. What I love the most are the Saskatchewan companies, especially the winners. We got winners like Farm Simple, Offstreet, Omni, Immigrate Keeper, Sonic. I mean, those are just amazing companies. And Sortador, covering like just a various wide range of verticals across the industry.
Yeah, and we're going to add one more to that tonight, and we're going to add even more logos to our side deals, which we already have a couple companies that are pitching tonight, Fidu and Immigrate, that have gotten deals before, and they're coming back to win the summit, hopefully tonight, but they have some stiff competition that might be joining them on this logo wall tonight, eh? What other companies do you see there on that logo wall from Saskatchewan?
We got Teal, we got Tourpath Putting, although I can't see the logo. I know it's there.
Right there.
There it is, Tourpath. We got Toonly, we got Skill Shark. I mean, there's so many. Mike, help me out here. What else do we have?
Solus Guard, Runner, River City. I don't know if we said this already. Omni's on there because they got a side deal and a winning.
Lightleaf.
Better
right?
Cart, Board Checkup.
Yeah. Also, don't forget about Environmental Material Science. So many companies, 23 of them out of 84 companies from Saskatchewan, and we're super amped to invest in them. And what
I was going to say is, behind each one of those companies, not just our investments, but it's all the founders are doing incredible work, resiliency, hard work, and dedication to push those companies along, which leads us to why we invest. Why do you invest, Jesse?
Well, for me, and actually my father, we do it here together. He's here tonight, and I'm proud to say that he was an entrepreneur and a startup founder himself. And it's about giving back to the community, but also building the community from the ground up. And this community has such amazing companies that are on an incredible trajectory. It's been proven by companies like Vendasta. We also have 7 Shifts, Coconut, and others that have led the way. And if companies are going to continue growing from here in Saskatchewan, it's got to start with the local community, even in these macroeconomic conditions, right? No one else is going to come here and pick up our bootstraps unless we do it by ourselves first, right? That's what's really important. So if you have the potential to invest, right, I highly encourage you to come talk to me or one of the Startup TNT folks to learn a little bit more about why we invest in startups. But why do you invest in startups, Hassan?
Along the same lines as you, Jesse, I believe in the founders that are behind all of these companies. As Mike and I were talking earlier today, every one of the founders that you're going to be seeing tonight has the ability to be world-class. I totally believe that. They just need our support. and not just on the money side. They need the support of contacts and referrals and any other assistance and support that we can give them. So it takes the whole community to push one of these companies to be world leaders.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me here on stage. I'm super amped to see you two lead the way here through your startup finale 2 years after we started this. And I'm going to be enjoying watching for the back of the room the rest of the night. So enjoy it tonight, guys, and have a great one. Let's give it up for Mike and Hassan.
All right,
Give it
let's
up for
give it up for
Jesse.
Jesse. Okay, here's how this whole situation works. We've talked about it a little bit. So at the beginning of the process, this started in September. Each investor pre-commits $5,000. That's pre-commits. That's before they've had the chance to look at these 5 companies tonight or do any due diligence, because they have faith in the quality of startups and the quality of founders coming out of Saskatchewan every year. Then what happens is we go through an 8-week summit due diligence process with these companies, which all culminates in tonight, where we will announce the winner live on stage. We have terms negotiated with all 5 companies, so we are ready to write checks, and you will see one being written tonight.
That's right, Mike. And yeah, and we want to remind everyone this is not just the pitch competition. We're not making a decision tonight just based on the quality of the pitch or the presentation tonight. The decision's being made after 8 weeks of due diligence with each one of the companies, typically going through at least 3 stages of due diligence with the investors. So it's actually a big, long process culminating tonight in the finale. And so that leads us to finale night. This is what's happening. It's not just happening here. It's happening in 3 provinces across the prairies. We're going to announce 4 summit winners, 1 in Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. We're involving over 100 investors, 23 of which are right here from Saskatchewan. Of course, we got 20 startup finalists that are going to be pitching tonight, pretty much simultaneously across the prairies. We sold over, that number's incorrect. We got actually 800, don't we, Mike?
Over 900
tickets sold. Come on, give it up. 900 tickets sold across the prairies for in-person and virtual event. And that's all going to end off in 5 amazing after parties, leading to 1 epic night for the Saskatchewan startup scene.
All right, and after that, we will be headed to Congress Beer House tonight for the after party. We've got after parties in every city. And if you're watching online from Regina, we'll be headed to Crave Liquid Lounge in Regina as well.
Yeah, shout out to the folks down in Regina. Oh, come on.
Get a little up for Regina.
All right, we'll get into a little bit more of the details. The pitch format for tonight, as we said many times already, it's going to be 5 pitches. Each presenter will get 4 minutes to pitch. You will be timed, so presenters, just look up. There's a timer right here. We're going to be using the timer. You got 4 minutes. You got maximum 30 seconds of a grace period, and then Mike's going to come up and pull you off stage. We're going to have 2 minutes for Q&A afterwards. There'll be an introduction made by some random lucky individuals from the crowd. And just kidding, we know who they are. And we're going to have Q&A by individuals also from the crowd that we've picked at random. For the presenters, make sure you hold the mic in the right position. There's a really small sensitivity zone, so if you hold it down here, talk like Jesse. So hold it up here so that everyone can hear you properly. Use these confidence monitor, and obviously keep an eye on the timer. And for the rest of us in the crowd, while you're listening to the pitches, respect the pitchers. Give them their time. They've worked really hard. It's been a long 8 weeks for all of them. They've done a ton of work, so give them their time up here. Be respectful of the time up here, and obviously cheer them on. We want this to be a high energy night, so cheer them on and off the stage. And for other potential investors in the crowd or anyone else, think about how you can help these companies. Remember, we want to help these companies grow out of Saskatchewan.
All right, and on to the moment we've all been waiting for. You'll hear from all these companies very shortly, but this is one of the best top 5s we've ever had at Startup TNT. These are some of the top startups in Saskatchewan raising capital today. we've got Alto, CreditGurus, Fidu, Immigrate, and Waggle Mail that you'll hear from shortly.
That's right. So with that, Mike, let's get the pitches started.
All right, so to introduce the first pitch of the night, we're going to ask up Larry Anderson from Chess Club, an amazing TNT sponsor.
Okay, testing 1, 2. Hi, yeah, I'm Larry Anderson from Chess Club Agency. We are a creative agency located here in Saskatoon, and I have two of my other business partners here with me. If they would just want to stand up for 2 seconds, go ahead. Yeah, cheer them on. Yeah. Our bread and butter is government contracts, and we do a lot of branding. And we're just in the kind of the midst of starting. We rebranded two years ago. We tear down everything, so we're kind of like a startup ourselves with a lot of history.
All right, that's amazing. We love working with Chess Club. You put together the video that started us off tonight. Thank you very much. Larry, who do we have pitching first?
Well, is there any doctors in the house? Yeah. Okay, we got a doctor in the house, and if you guys want to give a round of applause and a few barks for Dr. Christine Beck from Waggle Mail.
Oh!
I need the clicker. Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Christine Beck. I'm the founder and CEO of Waggle Mail. I am a veterinarian with over 20 years of domain experience. I'm a 4-times founder, and I'm no stranger to high-growth startups. But I created Waggle Mail for people like Sarah. Sarah's having a rough day today. She just picked up her dog, Progi, from the vet, and she spent $2,500 on a dental surgery. And the worst part is it could have been prevented. She didn't know that the antlers she picked up from the pet store break teeth. And she's not alone. 1 in 3 households are dog parents who want to make safe decisions, but unfortunately there's so much misinformation and product confusion out there. So, and it doesn't help as well that there's a critical shortage of veterinarians. So Waggle Mail has stepped in at the perfect time. We cut the noise and completely help empower pet parents with trusted recommendations. We got started by launching the first and only vet subscription boxes that, unlike competitors doing a one-size-fits-all approach, we prioritize personalization. So we've shipped thousands of curated collections all across Canada that contain anything from mental enrichment toys to vet-approved dental chews. But it's important to know that that was just the starting point. Since day one, we have invested in collecting data, building out our software, and in essence, creating this vet brain recommendation engine that's powered by AI. And that's where we really stand out. We are 100% bootstrapped to date. We launched from my basement in Saskatoon, and we've already shown real traction, $350,000 in recurring revenue at a 203% growth rate. We have collected thousands of data attributes, our consumer base is growing, and we have an amazing retention rate. We will be the first pet digital health platform out there that connects dog parents with everything they need for a happy, healthy dog. And we're already rolling the next phase out. In fact, last Thursday night, we launched our vet-curated personalized e-commerce platform to our subscriber base, and this is going public later this month. Thank you. This was a big step for us and a key product development because now, soon, we will be able to connect with even more dog parents with so many more offerings. So Pierogi, using an example, he has severe food allergies, is on a vet prescription diet, has recurrent ear infections, and hates the color pink. So we can connect Sarah with the right diet, safe treats, skin support products. We can forward her to live vet chats, telemedicine when she needs it. We can provide her with information and hopefully prevent ear infections from happening in the first place and connect her with a community of dog parents who are struggling with the same challenges that she is. I have identified a problem that I am uniquely positioned to solve. And it helps that I have a spectacular team by my side. There's a few here, as well as some advisors that have global, amazing experience in a multitude of industries. Happy, healthy dogs are a massive multi-billion-dollar opportunity. Our dog parents will effortlessly spend $100,000 over the lifetime of their dog, and we are uniquely positioned to not only provide lifelong value to dogs and their humans, but also capture a substantial portion at that lifetime value with our platform business model. We are currently raising our $750,000 round on a $6 million pre-money save. We've obtained quite a bit of non-dilutive funding to date, working with our Fed family, and we plan on being the leader in the pet care space. So we are looking to partner with experts and investors who are just as passionate about empowering the millions of pet parents like Sarah in taking the best care of their very best friends. So if that's you, you do not want to miss out on this opportunity. We have the team, we have the traction, we have the market, we're ready to go. So reach out to me directly and let's get back to work.
All right, let's give it up for Christine. Keep the mic. Keep the mic. To bring up for Q&A, we have TNT investor Michael Niederhoff. You can come to the stage.
Hi, Christine. Great
Hi.
presentation.
Thanks.
I feel like I should have worn my heels tonight. Short guy joke. Okay, great. Let's get rolling. Can you talk to us a little bit how your product offering has evolved and what's next for Waggle Mail?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, we started off in my basement with one subscription box line, and then based off of consumer feedback, we launched a second line specifically for puppies and their development. But there's a lot under the hood. Since day one, we've created our own software and platform, software in parallel. So we've created our own software called WaggleNet, our own data analytics platform that collects and pools our data. And what's next was this e-commerce platform, which was a big key step for what has always been the vision, which is this all-in-one end-to-end platform. So that's where we're going.
Awesome, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about how your team makes product development decisions?
There's a lot in here. I would say how we make product development decisions or decisions in general. Definitely we look to our market, right? Like we listen, we do quite a bit of consumer feedback, consumer surveys, listening to what's happening kind of in macroeconomics, what's going on in the space. Internally, our team says no to things that aren't in line with our mission or vision. And we have a lot of like weekly meetings. We set a lot of quarterly annual goals and KPIs. Yeah, and I'd say granularly, we are an e-commerce business, so tracking and analytics is huge for us. We have invested a substantial amount into CRO, or conversion rate optimization. So every decision we make, whether it's the order of our intake flow or the color of our call to action button, everything is tracked and A/B split tested with our traffic. So that's really key to our success as well as tracking.
Awesome, thank you. Can you talk a little bit about how you're going to hit your revenue target for 2024?
Yeah, so next year, the biggest four levers that we see for sure now that we have this e-commerce platform is definitely, we have our subscription. That's like a snowball effect. So we have a recurring subscription from our boxes now that's entering into subscriptions of products, layering in one-off purchases, layering off, people can have more visibility into what they want to buy and create their own collections. And then, so subscriptions, e-commerce, those are the two big levers. Vet clinics is really interesting for us. So we distribute what are called VHPs, or veterinary health products. We're the first to kind of do so in Canada. So there's a lot of pharmaceutical companies that have vet exclusive lines that they can't get out there. So we're looking into licensing our software with vet clinics and helping them monetize their own clientele and being sort of a white label e-commerce connection with them. So
Awesome. Do we have time for one more?
We don't have time for one more. I'm sorry.
I just want to ask about all the cat lovers.
Oh, the cat lovers. I get that all the time. Maybe next. They're the second biggest market.
Thanks, Christine.
All right, give it up for Christine and Waggle Mail. And thanks, Michael, for the questions. All right, to introduce our next company here tonight, we have Stefan O'Reilly from SK Startup Institute. Stefan, you're already here. Why don't you tell me a little bit about SK Startup Institute and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So at SAS Startup Institute, I'd like you to think of us as that first stop shop for anything entrepreneurship. So we're your first stop on your journey to starting your business. So at SAS Startup Institute, we help you build those foundational skills and knowledge so that you're ready to go to places like Startup TNT and make the most of your opportunities. So at SAS Startup Institute, we're all about promoting and celebrating local founders, local businesses. That's why we're so excited to be here and to introduce our next founder. Yeah, as you can see, we got Immigrate. I was talking to the founder a little bit before, and she said she's super pumped, has tons of excitement. She's been practicing, and just has some good vibes going today. So let's make sure we meet those good vibes and share some love with our next founder and pitcher, Kelly Prop. Give it up.
Christine, did you keep the clicker?
Oh. Hey everybody, I am Kelly Prop. I am the CEO and co-founder of Immigrate. So I want you guys to take a moment and imagine that you've built an amazing business. You've been working hard, but you have a labor shortage. So what do? You close locations, you reduce hours, or you simply just work double. And 40% of companies in Canada have this issue, and it's not going away. So our workforce is changing. Demographics has caused labor and businesses to really rely on the foreign workforce. And nobody has time, an additional 40 hours, to figure out what's going on with their immigration applications and how to do it. So this is where we come in. We are a great solution, and we make navigating the complexities of immigration a breeze. We are an all-in-one solution, and we make data tracking, data management a breeze. No complicated spreadsheets, no confusing email chains. Our technology saves you 90% of your administrative time by filling those forms out in seconds. And we have data hierarchy, so you always know who is accessing your information and when. And so one of the things we do is we help companies figure out what their immediate needs are now and what their long-term needs are. So for example, our automated job posting services help target new Canadians, Aboriginals, and underrepresented people so you can find the labor you need now while we help you plan for the future. And this is where Immigrate is important. We're in a league of our own. All our competitors are focusing on case management software, CRMs for applicants. These products, they really leave employers blind and confused and still overworked. And this is where we're different because we're an all-in-one solution. What we do is we offer the map, the roadmap to delight our customers with their magic moments, their proven processes, their clear steps every step of the way, no surprises. And one of the other key things is we're scalable and ready to grow. We know that international workers from around the world want to come to Canada and have great jobs. And we can use our hyper-targeting marketing to drive people to our site that houses 38,000 jobs. And so what we're doing is McMurray Group needed hundreds of workers and hundreds of applications to be filled out in 6 months or less. And we were able to help them in a short term with 99.5% success rate. And this was only managed by our platform and one dedicated HR professional. And year over year, we've been able to grow and double our revenue. And we were doing this with our old platform, our old software. And recently, we just migrated to our new technology, which is scalable and unlimited potential. And since I've taken over as CEO, I have really focused on profitability. I know our cost of goods. I can optimize our efficiencies. And we are set to scale our profits with our new efficiencies. So we're currently, our round is closed, but we're saving $300K for all y'all here in the room tonight. And I just want to say, we're really working hard to use this money to further develop our AI technologies with the help of venture labs and really driving sales and revenue through our dictated and hyper-targeted marketing. So if you want to be a part of something really special, You guys were before, and we've had exponential growth since then, so vote for us today. Thank you.
All right, give it up for Kelly. And to ask Q&A, we have Grant Dewsrich. Did I get that right? Yeah, all right, welcome, Grant.
Thanks, Kelly. And it was interesting because today I was at the Power Summit series, and the #1 topic was labor shortage and attraction of workers. So Kelly, tell us about your profit plan and go a little bit more detail.
So since I took over as CEO, we wanted to make sure that we were really a solid, stable business right from the beginning. So we really started mapping out all our unit economics, understanding our fixed prices in every step of the way. So that way we know what's going to cost. Immigration and labor in Canada is a seasonal business, and we want to make sure that we can plan every step of the way. And it comes down to piecewise work, knowing what is going to be fixed out and paid out at what. And that way, with our technology improving our automations, we can scale our profit as we grow.
Perfect. Now, my understanding Canada is not unique in this situation. There are many countries around the world, especially in the G7, that are facing this. What's your plan for growth?
So, yeah, immigration and labor shortages is definitely not unique to Canada. It is seen worldwide through the UK, the United States, Australia. And one thing we're doing is we want to make sure we really nail our product and our client base here in Canada, because we know what they need, and every country follows the same simple process. You need to understand what your needs are. You need to advertise for your job vacancies. You need to understand what skills you can hyper-target in the human capital market. And so that's what we do. We make sure we follow the same proven process every step of the way, and every country has the same process. You automate the form filling, you collect the data, you analyze the data, you track and monitor, and that's how we'll expand into other markets.
Perfect. And we were talking earlier about your partnership with Venture Labs. Tell us more about that.
So we recently got accepted to Venture Labs, and I think this is really going to help us accelerate our AI adoption, because we know how important AI is, and most companies, they don't want to hire recruiters because recruiters aren't necessarily the best. But our technology is going to use AI to help make sure keywords and understanding, so they know exactly what candidates are going to come. So Venture Labs will help us automate and further adopt our AI.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Give it up one more time for Kelly from Immigrate. And Grant, thanks very much for the questions. All right, up next, I'd like to bring Lawrence Zaharia to the stage from BDC.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Lawrence, nice to see you again.
See you again. My pleasure.
Great, it's great having you on the stage. So BDC, any big announcements from BDC lately?
I think the big announcements are going to come later this evening and probably tomorrow.
Awesome. Anything you can tell us tonight?
Excuse me?
Anything that you want to share with us tonight?
Not myself. Well, I have one of my colleagues actually that will do so.
Awesome. Okay. Well, then let's get on with the next presentation.
Thank you very much. So, thank you very much for having me again here, Hassan. And it's a pleasure to be here and to represent BDC. As mentioned, my name is Lawrence Zaharia, and I am a Senior Account Manager with Business Development Bank of Canada, also known as BDC, here in Saskatchewan. BDC focuses exclusively on Canadian entrepreneurs, and our focus is in creating and developing strong Canadian businesses through financing, advisory services, and capital. On the financing side, one of the key areas of focus for BDC is helping tech entrepreneurs grow and scale their businesses by providing non-dilutive financing. We come right after companies get product market acceptance, when there is revenue traction, supporting founders and tech companies to fuel additional growth, getting them ready for the next founding round. Before I start the introduction, I'd like to congratulate all 5 companies that made it to the TNT summit finale. I know actually it was not very easy for these companies. They had to compete, and this is great to have them here. I have now the opportunity to introduce the next company, and for many of you, that have been here before. Probably this is deja vu, because I've already done this introduction before the last summit. So let's try a different introduction this time. Maybe actually the founder has a better chance for success. So in a preamble to my introduction, I read 3 paragraphs from a report released last week by Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. According to CMC in 2023 Mortgage Consumer Survey, 50%, so that's 5 in 10, so 5 in 10, of mortgage holders directly impacted by increased debt services costs face difficulties maintaining certain payments, including mortgage payments. This number jumps to 74%, so that means 7 out of 10, when including those anticipating to be impacted in the next years to come. So to be more precise, in 2025 and 2024-25, up to 2.2 million mortgages borrowers will be renewing their mortgage. And when we look at all the other credit cards, auto loans, and even lines of credit, we are seeing an increase in delinquencies for these products. So obviously there is a problem here, and offering support for these Canadians in distress is our next presenter, Fred Glauerschnick, the CEO and founder of CreditGurus. So a couple words about Fred before he starts. Fred has over 20 years in retail credit experience and has founded CreditGurus with the goal of supporting millions of Canadians that have to go through the difficult process and sometimes embarrassment and stigma to trying to improve their credit. In a heavily regulated sector, CreditGurus is an industry-compliant online platform that helps consumers improve their credit by connecting them to credit tools, resources, and credit experts for free. From the business perspective, what makes CreditGurus unique is that Fred had the brilliancy to create an exclusive algorithm that places CreditGurus platform on a sweet spot where he is able to unite lenders and businesses, connecting them on a common goal of cutting costs, taking control, and monetizing their newly created opportunities together.
Thank you very much, Lawrence. Wow, what an incredible introduction. Hi, as Lawrence mentioned, I'm Fred, and I'm the founder and CEO of CreditGurus, Canada's first free online credit improvement platform. Every month, more than 1.5 million Canadians go applying for credit. And according to TransUnion, you know those credit reporting people, they say 800,000 of those people have subprime or non-prime credit scores. And the lending industry competes for people every month in a hyper-competitive market to have them on their to sell their products. Now imagine that you're somebody that's caught in that situation and you're somebody that has difficult credit. That situation is apply, rejected, over and over again, all while lowering your credit score. So our solution is, hey, let's help people improve their credit and let's make it for free. And let's connect them to the experts, the products, and the education resources that they need to move forward. So why did we create CreditGurus and why now? Well, in 2021, we saw upcoming changes to the consumer credit cycle. Fast forward to today, inflation is rising, insolvency is up 23%, and even the IMF is reporting some serious concerns about Canada's mortgage market. And Canadians are drowning in debt, and our platform is ready to help them. So remember those 800,000 people we were talking about with difficult credit? That translates into a $128 million per month market for credit improvement. And we're looking to get our fair share. And how are we going to do that? With 3 very unique technologies. First is our screen decisioning algorithm that allows us to process multiple applications at lightning speed. Second is our Simplicity app that's powered by video-powered messages that makes the hard, boring credit stuff really easy to understand. And last is the business part, the CreditGurus Hub. And that's where our customers and the experts are able to connect. And the other side of the magic of our CreditGurus Hub is the way that our applications come into the CreditGurus Hub from lenders and retailers that want to offer a solution to their customers instead of saying, no, get lost, sorry, we can't get you approved. And the magic in the Credit Gurus Hub is that once we work with these clients, we are able to return them to where they came from so that they can eventually complete that purchase. Our traction to date is we're happy to say that we signed our first contract with a company called DealerHop, which is integrating us into their platform, which should generate about 1,000 applications per month. And we're currently in negotiations with 2 medium-sized automotive groups. And where it gets really interesting is we had an online lead aggregator come to us in the credit space that is estimating to bring us 5,000 to 20,000 applications per month, exceeding our capacity by 10x. So the partners and our partners and experts are in place, and we're going to continue to grow that product platform as our customers' needs grow. Right now, we're continuing to build our retailers, lenders, and marketing channels. So Credit Gurus is the perfect combination of affordability and online transaction. Our business model is in order to facilitate a free-to-consumer business model, we monetize from the people that provide people the services that they need to move forward. And after we processed about 5,000 successful transactions through our platform, we're going to begin charging a subscription fee to the new credit providers and the new people that are coming onto our platform that are going to be wanting us to promote their products. Our projections are based upon securing 2,000 applications per month, 3,000 in 2024. 3,800 applications in 2025 and 5,200 in 2026. But as I mentioned, remember I told you about that contract we're negotiating? Well, we're expecting that to exceed this capacity by 10x. We're currently opening an angel round, and what we're looking to do with that is to get started, finish our integration to our first contract, to realize our second contracts, to process 5,000 successful transactions through our hub, hit our revenue targets, grow our team to full-time people of 8, and execute our upcoming grants. Our team is a combination of industry expertise and problem-solving skills. These people, there isn't a problem that they can't solve. And they see the impact that they're having on real Canadians' lives every day. And I invite every investor in this room to join us on our mission to change the lives and credit experience of millions of Canadians.
All right, let's give it up for Fred and Credit Gurus and bring up Jesse Weeb for the Q&A. Jesse.
So happy to have you back here, Fred. This is your second top 5 in a row. What changed between the spring when we saw you back in June and now that makes it so much more exciting to invest in Credit Gurus?
Well, first of all, Jesse, I have to say it's our team. It doesn't matter what we hear, doesn't matter what our customers are dealt, we're somebody that's going to solve the problem. So when we see, whether it's technical or whether it's integrating with other industries, our team is going to figure it out. After all, we are talking about technology, and our entire world runs on technology and credit, and we have a lot of experts to help us.
Yeah, and you've had some incredible sales traction. You mentioned these contracts, right? How has this sort of traction been different over the last few months? What's changed?
Great question, Jesse. Thanks a lot. What really changed was our approach. When we first started building Credit Gurus and we were in R&D mode, we were acquiring our applications from automotive dealers. And let's face it, nobody here really likes the automotive experience. So we did switch recently and started going after the actual credit providers. And what we found was that we fit into a very unique place for them. And that's in that ESG score that we're all hearing about. Credit Gurus is one of those products that helps them tick the box for financial inclusion. And that means that instead of saying, no, goodbye, get lost, you're saying, no, not yet. We want you as a customer eventually.
Awesome. Well, I'm super excited to have you here again, Fred, and hopefully the result will be a little different tonight, and we're excited to hopefully have you join the Startup TNT Investment Circle.
Thanks a lot, Jesse. And again, thanks a lot to Startup TNT for hosting this event.
Take care.
All right, thanks, Fred, and thanks, Jesse, for doing the Q&A. Now we're going to bring up another amazing TNT sponsor to introduce the next company. We've got Julia Eichholz from MNP. Julia.
Holy shit, you crushed my last name. That's awesome. I was going to introduce myself as I'm Julia Eichowitz, and most people can't pronounce that, but you crushed it.
Awesome. Well, now that we got that right, why don't you cover what MNP does? Because I know
For
I'm going to mess
sure,
that
will
up.
do. How's everyone doing? Did you grab yourself a taco over there? Well, if you haven't, you should. If you look out the window, you'll see MNP down the street. So MNP, we are a national accounting firm, and what lots of people don't know is that we offer multiple services, not just accounting. We have tax, such as shred, international US tax issues, if you have those. We also do fractional CFO and bookkeeping services. But really the great thing about MNP is that it's a national firm that feels like a small firm. And we can work with you from a startup phase to your growth phase up until finally your exit, hopefully. So we have the services to support you throughout that. And so that's all about MNP. And so I would like to introduce Hadi with Alto. And so Alto, pretty amazing. They came up with the idea of, hey everyone, I'm introducing Alto.
All right, let's get some quiet in the back there.
So they came up with a solution for, if you have maturing parents at home or you have young kids, probably everyone in this room is probably going to deal with this problem sooner or later. And so they came up with a solution to get home care and easy access. So I'd like to introduce Alto to come up.
Adi will be joining us from home. Unfortunately, he came down with the flu today, so here he is.
Hi, everyone. I really wanted to be there. My apologies, but I know Alto is known for a lot of good things. I just didn't want Alto to be known for a super spreader at a TNT event. So just to be a little bit careful, I just decided to do this virtually. I want to share my pitch. Awesome. Just is everyone able to see my pitch? If I could just get a confirmation, that would be great.
Yep, we can see it.
Awesome. Perfect. My name is Hadi Tahirian. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Alto, where we're reshaping our patient care delivery. What we actually solving is a genuine problem we're having right now in Canada and around the world, and that's overwhelming number of patients in our hospitals. Now, did you know on average, 92% of hospital beds are taken, and more than half of those patients are individuals at the age of 85? In Canada, last year, we spent more than $331 billion for our healthcare system, and $81 billion was just dedicated to run the hospitals. And every time someone goes in and out of the hospital, it costs our Canadian healthcare system more than $8,300. Now, with Canada having the 5th lowest number of hospital beds per capita between the OECD nations, and the growing older adult population, not only this issue is not going to go anywhere, it's just about to get worse. Now, a lot of hospitals and health authorities have been trying to deal with the volume of patients with implementing an outpatient care solution. However, they haven't been successful for 3 main reasons. Number one, there's a lot of moving parts that needs to come together to actually make that outpatient program set up. Number 2, the lack of human resources to provide those additional support for the patients at home. And number 3, because of number 1 and number 2 issue, majority of that care coordination or providing additional support goes back on the family member of the patient. Now, this is where Alto comes to shine. Alto is a comprehensive solution that brings in all these moving parts into one place where the patient is the center of focus. We're able to do this because Alto is an integration of 4 different systems. Our home health management software is where the patients or the hospitals have an ability to find a vetted care provider in less than 20 minutes or less. This is where we provide all aspects and tools that needs to happen in order to manage any sort of home care services. We also have our EHR system where we can actually have an ability to see the care journey of these patients at home, where we can take proactive steps to make sure they don't go back to the hospitals. And one of the most exciting part of our platform is our financial and claim management system, where we can cater to every different provinces based on the different funds being used to move these patients out of the hospitals. Now, we generate revenue in 2 ways. It's our B2C and B2B. B2C is where anyone can go to our platform and actually hire a vetted care provider through our platform. Where we actually turning our focus right now is our B2B, where we're charging $172,000 from every hospitals and $29.99 per patient that goes through it right now. Now, to put a bit of a market opportunity perspective, though, in Canada alone, there are more than 1,300 hospitals. Now, last year, 2.9 individuals went in and out of the hospital. Based on the Canadian Institute for Health Information, 5.8% of those individuals stayed at the hospital for an average of 8 days, some up to 40 days, because they couldn't receive additional support to go home. Now, to put it in a bit of a perspective for everyone, we spent more than $700 million last year to keep some people in the hospitals when they didn't need to be there. Now, with Alto, not only were we able to reduce that by 44%, but we were also able to reduce the number of days these patients stay at the hospital by half as well. Now, we launched our MVP in June of 2022, and last year we made $75,000 in recurrent GMV. This year alone, we surpassed 600 already. We're on pace to hit 800 before the end of the year. We provided more than 27,000 hours of home care and average growth of 40% month over month. And we're able to do this while we reduce our customer acquisition cost by 40%. We reduce our payback period by 55%, and we expand into 17 locations. And this is just the beginning for us. The actual outpatient care market is worth more than $1.3 trillion, which is growing at 4.8% year over year. And if anyone can capitalize in this market, though, it's us. I come in with more than 15 years of experience in operation and sales at the C-suite level, with my previous position as an executive director with the largest retirement home management company in North America. My co-founder and business partner, Dr. Rob Bassi, an internal medicine specialist with 2 health authorities, who's serving currently as the head of clinical care, where his primary job is to move patients out of the hospitals. And our CTO, Blair Kelsey, he was actually one of the original developers with companies such as Skip the Dishes, which got acquired for more than $220 million. Now we're looking to raise $1.1 million, where we already have $500,000 in commitment. Just today, I actually received another confirmation for another $300,000 through MC2 validation program through the Center of Aging and Brain Health Innovation. And we're not alone. Besides the fact that we actually have a massive, besides the fact that we have a very experienced team, though, we actually have great advisors and mentors who provide support for us. Some to highlight is actually Kendall Bishop, which she got married and changed her name. She's actually one of the ex-directors of marketing with Skip Dishes and Uber. We're Alto, and we're the future of outpatient programs. Thank you.
All right, let's give it up for Hadi. Great job, Hadi, and hope you get better soon. For Q&A, we got Jim Nakowski. Come up, Jim.
Thank you, Hassan. Great presentation, Hadi. So sorry that you can't be here with us.
Thank you. It's a shame. I genuinely wish I was there.
Hadi, my question to you is, you've developed an amazing platform and an amazing solution to an incredible problem. And it's not only a national problem, it's an international problem. What are you and your team doing to make sure you stay ahead of any competitors that would copy what you've already achieved? And how do you move that forward?
Absolutely. I think one of the main focuses we always have right now is to stay ahead of the trend. With Rob being directly involved with the health authorities, we've made enough connections through Canada and some states right now through US, where we can actually see firsthand what's going on within the hospitals, what tools being actually used at the same time, what's working and what's not working. And that's how we're able to actually be ahead of a trend right now. This is why we actually started having the discussion with the health authorities, with 2 health authorities. It was in early 2022. And finally, just recently, Saskatchewan Health Authority came up indicating that on average, there's more than 100 patients that doesn't need to be at the hospital. We knew this 2 years ahead before anyone else knew that. So the fact that we have experts who are actively working within the health authorities and hospitals in Canada, though, give us a better hand to understand and actually be ahead of everyone else.
Very good, very good, Hadi. Second question is,
because it's a platform that you're providing, and you want to make certain that your patients receive the best care and the best experience, how do you ensure that that happens, and how do you ensure that your reputation isn't tarnished by a care provider that maybe doesn't perform appropriately?
Excellent. This is where we actually been working with someone like Kendall Bishop, who, as an ex Skip the Dishes, ex Uber, they have a very clear understanding about how to deal with actual contractors. Some of the things we implemented right now is we have a review system put into place where the care providers and the patient can actually provide reviews for each other. At the same time, we implement an internal, what we call an internal system where if the care providers receive higher reviews and better reviews, they actually show up on top of the list for other patients. And we actually do go through a vetting process with every care provider that comes to our platform. These are not just random people that show up. They have to provide a photo ID, they have to provide a criminal record check, they have to provide the actual certification. And then on top of that, we actually make sure we have at least a phone call or some sort of internal interview with them just to make sure they understand who we are and what we do and what their expectations are.
Very, very good. And the final question is, can you tell us a little bit about what the journey and the milestones look like to take Alto upwards to the Series A investment?
Sure. With our seed round, we're looking to expand into West Coast. Our primary focus right now is to dominate the West Coast right now. With the Series A, though, this is where we want to make sure within the next 2 years, after we actually secure our seed round, we're able to not only we're able to sign up more than 40 hospitals that can actually use our platform with the licensing, but we actually want to become the only solution out there where it's genuinely easy to keep people at home and actually have them age in place. So there's specific things we want to accomplish by that. There's a specific revenue we want to hit where we're estimating and forecasting within 2 years would be cash positive as well.
Excellent answer. Thank you, Hadi. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks very much, Hadi. And thanks very much, Jim, for those questions. All right, we're coming up to our last pitch for tonight. And to help us introduce the last pitch, we have a man who probably doesn't need any introduction, but I'll do it anyways. Joe Gill, come on up here from McKercher.
That's it? That's all I get? Got anything else? Hey, everybody. People in the back, there is an actual event going on, unbeknownst to you guys. I was going to go up here and sing, actually. I think that's a regular thing up here on this stage, but I'm not going to do that. I was here a few weeks ago. Brendan knows this, and I was carefully not asked to sing at that thing. So I'm Joe Gill. I'm a technology and startup lawyer here, help many of the companies here tonight start up and scale. We empower those who dare. We turn downside legal risk into upside opportunity. But the thing I want to talk about tonight that I think is so key, and maybe you can see from the way I dress, and or those that met me, is authenticity. And I wrote about that in a LinkedIn post today. And I think you need to leverage your personal unfair advantage when it comes to your own authenticity. It's the thing you buried, the thing you hid away to conform, the thing that you kept close to the chest, but the thing that makes you you. And every company that's up here tonight is doing that. They're being their authentic self. They're showing the benefits to the world of the startup they've created. And if I can paraphrase Fight Club, they're not their pitch deck, they're not their cap table, they're not their P&L, and they're not their goddamn T2s. They're the all-passion, all-committed rebels who will change the world. And I'd like to introduce one of those rebels, the co-founder and CEO of Fidu, Blaine Cordy. I've known Blaine for a very long time now. And I actually want to take this opportunity to thank him in front of everybody as one of the first people who got me involved in tech, interested in tech, and showed me a pathway to get involved as a lawyer in the fun and wacky world of startup law. So let's bring Blaine up here, and you're going to hear about this awesome company.
Thank you. Hey everybody, I am Blaine, co-founder of Fidu, and we are transforming the business model of the trillion-dollar legal industry. There are 480,000 solo and small law firms in North America, all of which suffer under the weight of the billable hour model. They're overworked, overwhelmed, and overcommitted. 65% of those solo and small law firms make less than $200,000 of revenue each year, and that's with $160,000 of law school debt. On top of that, 44% of the work that they do is going to be pulled away and replaced by AI. The reality is how law firms price their services is broken, but there's a better way to serve your clients. There's a better way to build a business. Enter subscription legal services. Today, 78,000 firms offer subscriptions to their clients. They get increased profit margins, increased capacity, and particularly because of AI's impact in legal, that number is going to 4x to 330,000 firms in 2026. But when firms go to implement this today, they're kind of stuck cobbling together multiple products in order to make this happen. There's no real infrastructure product to help implement this business model. Enter Fidu. We are the complete SaaS for law firm solution. And we're grounded in the framework that my co-founder Kim has developed over the past 10 years building a subscription law firm. We combine a back-end tool for firms to build their subscription and a front-end tool for firms to supply those services to their clients. We charge $99 a month, $29 a seat on top of that. We've got a ton of expansion opportunities into tiered pricing, AI usage, and so on. We're launching some of those this month. Legal is a huge market, and we're targeting this segment that is rapidly growing. It's going to 4x over the next 3 years to $2.8 billion. We're starting with firms under 19 people in the business because they're quick to buy. They lead innovation in legal, and they represent 95% of the market. We're on a path to product market fit today. We leverage content. There's a ton of appetite for content on this from firms and events to drive leads, and we're ahead of the curve already today. We have a clear path to a $100 million business within our segment alone before we even expand outside into professional services and larger firms. We've seen, in legal in particular, first movers win. Clio was the first company to bring practice management to the cloud. They're over $100 million ARR today. NetDocuments was the first enterprise cloud document management tool. They're over 100 million ARR. And Casetext. Casetext was acquired for $650 million earlier this year. They're the first real of the new wave of generative AI companies to come out. My co-founder Kim is actually an advisor for Casetext and saw the journey start to finish. And Fidu is the first to subscription legal services. By 2028, we will be a $100 million business as well. We are the team to do this. My co-founder Kim literally built the model. She is the market leader, the word is escaping me, the pioneer in legal subject matter expert. That's the word I was thinking of. And I've been developing for quite a while. I've built B2B and B2C legal tech products. We are raising $800,000 USD today. We're over 10% of the way there. My co-founder Kim is in Ottawa for SAS North, pitching away there. Hi Kim, you're on the stream. We are building to $3.4 million in annual revenue in the next 18 months. We'll hire our growth team coming out of this raise. And that's amazing, but I've got one more thing that's brand new. Nobody knows about this before. We have landed the industry's most important investor, the investor that pulls together the market. He's an amazing person. He's mentoring us. He's Jack Newton, CEO of Clio. This is a huge moment for our company, bringing him in as an investor and as a mentor. So we're really excited. So if you hate the billable hour, we definitely hate the billable hour. Join us. Let's invest in Fidu, and let's end the billable hour for good together. Thank you.
All right, let's give a round of applause for our last pitcher of the night, Blaine. And to do Q&A for Fidu, we have Sherry Behale from Chess Club.
Hi, Sherry.
Hello, good job, Blaine.
Thank you.
So you actually answered most of my questions in that pitch, but I'm going to make you go into a little bit more detail. So huge trend, subscription billing, and you are first to market, and you talked about how important that is. But how far ahead are you if a competitor were to come in today?
Great question. First of all, competitors coming in need a framework. We've seen other products come in, not necessarily around subscriptions, but in the market selling efficiency. And there really needs to be more to it. And that's where my co-founder Kim's framework really comes into play. She's not literally wrote the book, but she's built the playbook from running her firm for the past 10 years. She's also spent the last 5 years teaching other firms how to implement this in their business through coaching and mentorship and education through there. So there's a lot of institutional knowledge that goes into it. It's not an easy thing to drop a product in. We've seen there's an easy kind of path of billing that could come out of this, but it doesn't address the core problem of delivering and scaling up these services. So there's a really holistic element to this.
Right, so you truly are first in this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you recently, you just announced this wonderful investment from the founder of Clio, and you have a partnership with Clio, and you've just recently won an award, right?
Yes.
So can you explain to us how important is that partnership, and what does that mean for your future sales and growth?
Sure. So we were named Clio's Best Practice of Law app this year. We were just named that at about a month ago at their conference in Nashville. Clio's been an important part of our story and our history. Not everybody knows this probably, but my co-founder Kim and I met. We're remote. She lives in Atlanta. I'm obviously in Saskatchewan. We met through a Clio event. We started working together directly after the Clio event. So they're an integral part of our story. We've had moments along the way with Clio. But what they really represent is a channel partner for us. They have an app store that we're listed in. We get leads from them. They really push the envelope on new business management solutions, on business concepts. Their conference is built around pushing businesses forward. So they talk a lot about these concepts. Kim's pitched in the past through doing webinars and at their conferences. So they're a really great partner. They're champions of what we're doing, and they bring us leads.
Right. So as an example, you were just at a conference last month, right? What came out of that for you?
What came out of that conference was, well, that really signified our moment to switch from the R&D phase of the business to the go-to-market phase of the business. So we got over 250 leads from that. We had one of the busiest booths in the conference. There's 2,500 people at the booth. I didn't eat lunch most days. It was a really, really big deal for us. So leads and sales from there.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Blaine.
Thank you.
All right, one last round of applause for Blaine, and thank you, Sherry, for doing the Q&A. And let's get a big round of applause for all 5 pitchers here tonight. Awesome, so we are going to head into a quick bio break, followed by our panel. But before we do that, we want to bring up a very important partner of ours, and that's Doug Zielinski from Prairie Scan. Doug, can you come up to the stage to say a few words? We have Doug.
Is Doug still in the house?
Doug's partying.
Jesse's got to get him. Oh, Mike, I can't believe the quality of the pitches. I mean, it's a harder decision even now.
This is a very hard decision that we have to make tonight.
Okay.
Doug's not here, so
No Doug.
everybody go to the Prairies Can website. They're an amazing partner of ours. Check that out. They fund a lot of
They are
companies.
here when we need them, though.
All right, so here's what's going to happen now. We're going to take a quick 10-minute bio break. The investors are going to go to another room to deliberate, get another drink, get some food, get that energy out because you're going to want to sit down and be quiet for what's coming up next.
Beer tabs.
Right. Yeah, and another thing that we always like to do at Startup TNT is we love building the community, and what better way to build community than by buying a drink for your friends. So we always accept beer tabs at TNT. You can e-transfer them to cheers@startuptnt.com.
All right. With that, we'll be back in 10 minutes for
Back
the
in
panel.
10 minutes for the panel, yeah.
What's that? I like left eye.
Was my right eye actually probably October just you know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a quick panel discussion going on here over the main stage area while the investors are deliberating. Come on over. We've got Brendan King moderating our panel with Lisa Reeves and Seth Hashimi. Come on down. There's lots of seats up front. We're going to get started in about 2 minutes here with this panel. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, those seats up front are filling in fast. If you want a great seat to listen to Brandon and Lisa and Safe, you need to get the seat now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this panel is going to get started in 30 seconds here. See if you can beat Brendan to the front of the stage.
Check, check, check. Can everyone hear that or no? Test, test, test. You don't want to hold it too close, otherwise you start getting muffled.
Like about here?
Yeah.
I don't think mine's on.
All right, here we are, everybody. Grab your seats here. You do not want to miss this panel. This is going to be so great. Thanks again, Brendan King and Vendasta, for hosting us here at Vendasta HQ. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
And we are so excited to have this panel here. Brendan King from Vendasta, moderating with Lisa Reeves at TriNet, and Saif Hashmi from BDC Capital. Here they are.
All right. Well, I want to first thank everybody for coming here. Look, what a wonderful bunch of entrepreneurs. Isn't that great to see all these entrepreneurs do their pitches? All right. I can still hear you guys on the other side. Come on over here, you guys, and listen this time. No. So, look, these pitches were fantastic. I'm super impressed. You know, when we started Vendasta, there just wasn't an ecosystem like this. I am so impressed with the ecosystem. And I'm also really pleased to be up here today with two people who are super, super important in my life. So these folks are on the Vendasta board, and Saf's been on the board since BDC invested in Vendasta a very long time ago in 2014. 13, 14? Wow. And he's come such a long way. And Lisa Reeves was one of our first independent board members. And as entrepreneurs and startups, you're going to find that your board is going to be one of your most valuable resources. So oftentimes these panels start, and you're wondering, who are these people that I'm even talking to, and why am I listening to them? So I want to spend a little bit of time first for you guys to understand who these people are, how fortunate we are to have them here and be able to listen to them and learn from them. They have a fantastic story, and so I've asked them They're not comfortable telling their story. They never are. Nobody is. I'm not comfortable. But I want you to, because I want people to understand your journey. So Lisa, I'd like you to start, and I'd like you to, start from the start.
Okay.
Where were you born? Who's your mom? Where are you from?
All right, I'll go for it. So just so you know, Seth's story is a lot more interesting than mine because he's the money guy. So just keep that in mind. I'll make mine quick. So I am the Chief Product Officer at TriNet. TriNet's a company traded on the New York Stock Exchange, and it's HR software. The interesting thing is that we run the risk pools for benefits. So it's benefits, payroll, and HR software. And the distinction is that we run the risk pools. We provide very preferential pricing for medical benefits, which is, as you know, many of you know, I'm sure, a big deal in the United States. And the reason is because we aggregate small business. So we have hundreds of thousands of employees, and their companies are our employees, and then in turn we provide the capabilities to their employees. So it's a very interesting model. And I'm the
So actually, if you guys hire people in the U.S., you can help them. Right?
Totally. If you have employees in the United States and you're worried about getting medical insurance, payroll, all that kind of stuff, we take all that off your table. So we provide the compliance, the risk, and all those capabilities that you need to have a happy employee. And so I'm the Chief Product Officer. What are we going to build? How are we going to build it? Interact with engineering. But taking a step back, I was born in Kansas. That's why I'm such a friendly person, okay? Kind of like, I think up here in Saskatchewan, everyone's very friendly. So born in Kansas, and I started my career at SAP. I was with the big German software company. Hopefully I'm not dating myself too much and you know who SAP is. It's one of the largest software companies in the world. And I was employee 1,740, one of the first employees. They have close to 90,000 employees now, and I was there for 14 years. 9 years on the operational side, starting as a consultant, and then I ran their venture fund for 5 years. And so I was based out of Munich, Germany. At that time, like now, it's nothing, but it was a $490 million venture fund, okay? And we did direct investments in the US, in Europe, and we were also an investor in funds in China and India. And I relocated to Europe. So this is part of my product journey. I don't know how many product folks are out there, people that actually build products, engineers, product managers, designers, UX. But I think to be successful in that role, it really helps if you're well-rounded. And I've been an entrepreneur, an investor, and an operator. So 14 years at SAP, and we did a lot of great deals. The interesting thing about SAP was, and we'll get to it when we're talking about venture, we were a corporate investor that was focused on financial return to the parent. That's very, very unusual. In the world of corporate venture, most are not like that. It's strategic alignment to the parent. And so did that for 14 years. Then I was at Citrix, the big virtualization company, ran a division for Citrix that was focused on go-to-my-PC, which is really old school. Like everyone knows what Box is, right? Now Box and Dropbox, those are like considered old tech now. But at that time, for the people that are young, before you had that, you would actually tunnel in. If you were a small business owner, like at a restaurant or something, you would tunnel in to see like the cash receipts at the restaurant. It was
I sold that software.
Yeah, so you know how old it is. So did that. I was GM at that division. Totally depressing. Okay, I come from this really cool world of venture capital, and now I'm the cash cow. The only thing they wanted me to do was throw off cash. No innovation, throw off cash. So it was a great experience because that's what I was held to. Crummy product, a receding market, and how are you going to throw off cash? That's all I did. And so then I started a venture fund with, and again, it's not a big deal now, but at the time it was a big deal, an $80 million venture fund, majority women-owned. I was so psyched to see Christina and the other woman up earlier tonight. Woo! Yeah. I'm a huge, God, is it hot up here or is it just me?
No, it's hot, and I got to apologize for that. We were supposed to have air conditioning, but, you know.
I was $80 million majority, so 2 of the 3 GPs were women. It was an SBIC fund, so partially funded by the Small Business Investment company at the U.S. government, and we focused on Rocky Mountain investments in the Rocky Mountain region. I live in Boulder, Colorado. and did that for a couple years. And then at a very late in life age, I started a company with two guys from Oracle, a company called Gridcraft. And we, so basically not a big deal now, but at that time, we ran in the cloud spreadsheets, not spreadsheets, okay? It was a whole, it was a whole like framework that looked like Excel. The front end looked like Excel, and we sucked in structured, unstructured, semi-structured data. And we ended up actually selling it. Like, this is unbelievable. We sold it to Workday. So the big HR software company, many of you might know Workday, we sold it to them. They didn't have a banker or anything. They reached out to me via LinkedIn. So I can talk a lot about starting your own company because I was the CEO. I raised capital, and I had two like incredible co-founders that knew all the tech. And I was the one who went to Costco and got the snacks and like set up the product team. But it's a pretty phenomenal story. So ended up selling that to Workday and Boulder. They now have almost 500 product and eng resources in Boulder. And I'm a huge advocate of Vendasta being successful, because when Vendasta is successful, that's going to throw off cash to the rest of the region, and people will invest in the next generation of companies. And I've seen it firsthand in Boulder, so huge advocate of that. And then I was at a company. After that, I couldn't wait to get out of Workday. Hope there's no Workday employees here. Could not wait to get out there. I had a 2-year lockup, and I left, and then I went to a company called Zenefits. And many of you probably don't know Zenefits. All I can say is Google it, and that will like tell you exactly what happened at Zenefits. It was one of the companies where just bad behavior. I came in, I was the generation of leadership after the bad behavior, Fortune articles, doing very bad things in the stairwell with the employees, some like, I don't want to say criminal, but a lot of stuff. So just Google that. And then I ended up at the company I'm at now, TriNet, which is very buttoned up, highly regulated industry with HPII data and things like that. So super happy to be on the board of Vendasta. And I guess the last thing I'll leave you with, I think it's really, for many entrepreneurs, it's a hard path, right? It's hard. It's a hard and lonely path. And I really think that those bumps and being an entrepreneur, an investor, operator, those really make you a much better, whatever path you go on, product engineering, VC, those life lessons really like contribute to your overall success. So hang in there if you're entrepreneurs on the edge.
Wow. And so, Lisa, you shortcut all the questions I can ask you. I can't ask anymore. But I'm telling you, we're so lucky to have you. The experience you have, it's fantastic. And you guys, any questions you have after this, you want to make sure to connect with Lisa. She knows the answers. So, Saf, you've been with us since 2013. And
2015. So the BDC made an initial investment in 2013. I wasn't a part of that.
It feels like you were here longer.
And then I joined in 2015, 2016. My story, essentially 3 parts, I say it. So the first part of my story is I was born and raised in Pakistan. I grew up there to a lower middle class family. None of my parents went to university. So grew up in an environment where I had a chip on the shoulder, kind of proving myself entire life. And then randomly came across a friend who was applying to McGill. This is back in 2010. I did not know about McGill. I did not know about any other universities globally. My plan was to stay in Pakistan. And I randomly filled out the application without knowing that there's a $65 fees at the end. So I didn't even know about that. So that's how, how much I was exposed to the Western world or the universities. Ended up applying and getting a random scholarship at McGill. Didn't know how to apply for the Canadian visa. Filled out the application on my own, sent it out. I saw a company, Immigrate, today, so I did this back in 2010 without knowing anything. This was a shot in the dark. I had a backup plan in Pakistan. 2 days before the school was supposed to start, I got the visa, sat on the plane for the first time in my life, left Pakistan for the first time, and ended in Montreal to a weekend of frosh, which was a huge cultural shock for me. So coming to the Western world, coming to Canada, first-hand experience was like really, I was homesick for the first couple of months. But then thanks to the Canadian community, McGill, I got integrated into the community very quickly. Studied economics at McGill and started off my career working in private equity. Did equity research back then as well. And then right after school, joined a hedge fund in Toronto doing commodity trading. So that was very quant focused. So that starts my second part of my journey. And year and a half, 2 years later, I got fired from that job, which came as a shock to me. I didn't know that was a thing even. I went in one fine morning, and they just asked me to pack my bag up and leave. So didn't even let me go to the screen. So
That's great. I love
did
that.
not know that.
You're a very resilient guy.
thank you.
There's definitely some resiliency between the two of us.
Thank you. I was that basically started my career in venture. So after that, I knew one thing, that I would do something that I'm really, really excited about. So randomly came across an opportunity, BDC, applied online. I didn't know anyone, didn't have any network, so I applied online, got in for an interview, and the first question Robert asked me was, "Why are you here?" essentially. And I told him the
Because
story.
I got fired.
Yes, exactly. That's what I told him. That's exactly what I told them. So they said that we bet on entrepreneurs, we bet on your honesty. One thing we love about you is that you're honest, you own up to it. So gave me a shot. It's been 8 years at BDC. I started with the IT venture fund at BDC, invested in Series A and B companies. We backed some of the top Canadian technology companies, including Vendasta. And that brings to the third part of my career, which is couple of weeks ago, we announced the launch of the BDC's new seed fund that I'm heading. I started at BDC as an analyst, grew up, thank you. And as a part of the entire BDC journey, I was lucky enough to be groomed and mentored by Robert Simon, who's also on the board of Vendasta. Was one person at BDC who championed me across everywhere. Within BDC in 2020, the IT venture fund stopped investing in new companies. So half of the team spun out, and they started Framework Venture Partners. So I stayed back, and then within BDC, I kind of went in and was like, hey, we need a seed fund. We need to do more seed. And people were like, you're just an associate, It's okay, we'll think about it. But I kept on it. And lucky enough that Robert championed me, Jerome, who's the head of BDC Capital, he championed me. And then 3 years later, we went to the board, we went to the CEO, and kind of convinced them to start a new fund that myself and my other partner, Dinar, were both heading. So we're investing in early stage seed companies, pre-seed, seed, late seed, average check size ranging from $250,000 to $2 million. We're investing in software companies, and we're open for the business.
Is it all in Canada?
That's only in Canada, yes.
Okay.
And you answered I have no questions left to ask. I might even have to go get the sheet that they made for me to ask questions, because you guys have answered all the questions. Robert Simon is an amazing board member and a gentleman, and he's lucky to have you. You have been a rock behind Robert with the Vendasta investment. And I would say to anybody here, if you're lucky enough to get an investment from these folks and to have Saf on your board, he's amazing.
Thank
so
you.
I do want to talk a little bit about the thesis about what you guys are doing. When we, my background's easy, I'm just from Moose Jaw, but when we started Vendasta, there really wasn't any kind of funding that you could get really in Saskatchewan. There was no seed funding. So it's pretty exciting to see, this seed fund appear for all kinds of people and see these pitches. And you talked a bit about the thesis, but tell me a bit more about why this fund was created, what your goals are for it, how long will you be in the fund, like in an investment, how patient are you, what's your goals for it, what are you trying to get out of a company?
So what we did was something new. So at BDC, normally how it works is that at the board level, decide that there's a gap in the market and we need to do a fund. And then their team goes in, do a strategy session, structure a fund, and then put in place. Hire a team, and that runs it. For the first time in the history of BDC, myself and Dinar, we both were associates back in 2020, we kind of did a customer discovery. We went out in the market, and we were just talking to people, and we saw that there's a need for a dedicated seed fund in the market. There's not enough seed leads in the market in Canada. Right? There are a lot of US leads who would come in and lead deals. The Canadians would mostly follow on. There were not enough. There are few. Golden is one, Mistral, there are just very few. And the ones that are active are either regionally focused or there's like industry focused. So there's no generalist seed fund that's like covering everything, a pan-Canadian true seed fund. So that was the one gap, not enough seed leads. The other gap we saw was like seed investors would put in first check and then forget. It's a spray and pray. We need a high conviction investor who's going to sit around the table, help you get to A and beyond even, and have the ability to put in more checks into it. So that was the second feedback we got. And the third feedback we got was that the underserved regions, such as the Prairies, Alberta, and Atlantic Canada, these regions, there are regional investors, but there are not enough investors coming out of the region to look at the region. And what we have seen from the, looking at companies such as Vendasta, is that they actually scale faster when they get capital outside of the region, because that gives them exposure to other investors and beyond, right? That it gives a different kind of a framework. So with that, kind of the customer discovery, we went back up and kind of explained that, hey, we need a fund for these reasons. So that's our investment thesis around what we're doing. In terms of the sector, Canada, 70% of the deals are in the software space. So we're focused on the software space as well. The way we look at the software space is basically we look at an enterprise, and we have these divisions. We look at the CFO tech stack. We look at the CTO tech stack. We look at the Chief Product Market Officer tech stack, CMO tech stack. And we're looking at how, over the last decade, software has changed that. Over the next 5 years, as we are seeing, AI will change a lot of it. So how AI will replace the software, so that's our essential thesis, how we're looking at it. And then, more importantly, we're looking at how these solutions, AI solution or a software solution, is essentially increasing your top line and reducing your cost and impacting your bottom line directly. The ROI has to be very, very clear and straight up. So yeah, software investing and same as before.
That's awesome.
I would say on the last comment you just made about AI, from an actual operator perspective, the actual cost to serve is now a huge issue with AI. It's not just driving top line, but it's cost savings. I was listening to Squawk Box this morning, and there was a guy on there talking about it. And as an operator, we are uber focused on that. It was the OCR before, but now like everything's AI, and what kind of cost savings you can drive operationally.
Okay, so that's awesome. So if you heard, that is the quintessential description of an investor you guys want as a seed investor. I mean, it's a dream investment. But even that said, Lisa, you've got a ton of experience. Getting a VC investment actually isn't for everybody. There's lots of reasons why you might do that. Like you might, there's a lot of reasons to bootstrap. I mean, I know a lot of folks, not necessarily here in Saskatchewan, but in lots of places that build a company to $1, $2, $5 million with no investment, turn around, sell it for a couple times revenue multiple, and make a really good living, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. Why would someone, as many businesses have you started, why would you take a venture investment? What would the conditions be that would, have you take a venture investment versus bootstrap?
Well, for me, I'm a people person and I like connections. So, I mean, bootstrapping is great because then you own it and you don't have to worry about all the other things. But if you have someone and you're able to actually take capital and they can connect you to the right people, they can help you accelerate faster, and they understand your business, they really understand your business, then I think that's incredibly valuable, and that will actually lead to higher returns and really accelerate the opportunity.
Yeah, and I was thinking more along the lines of like, if you want a lifestyle business, don't take VC because you're on the clock. And if you do take VC money, there's an expectation of a return. Sometimes it's, Saf, you talked about it, you guys are more patient than others, but many VCs, aren't all that patient, right? So there's an expectation of a return. So if you want a lifestyle company, I would say not do that. The second thing is, if you feel like you've got an idea where there's not a huge competitive rush, and you can take your time and you can build that company, you might want to consider doing that on your own. Whereas, if it's like AI, you better go right effing now. So, that's what I think. And Saf, what's your thesis on that? What do you look for when you meet a founder? What makes you decide whether you're going to invest or not? What are you looking for?
Absolutely, the first thing is the people. I think it's a relationship that you are in with the founder over the next 5 to 10 years. It's a long-term relationship. So you need to be able to see eye to eye in the founder's eye and be like, this is the person I want to be able to work with. I can have fun with, I can get along with. So that's the first and most important thing. Beyond that, absolutely the competitive advantage. So we spend a lot of time digging into the market and seeing how do you differentiate yourself. But not only that, we also look at sustainable competitive advantage. How long can you sustain this? What are the barriers to entry to the market? How can you be disrupted going forward? So spend a lot of time on that. Beyond that, we look at unit economics, just the usual way. And then one last thing which I kind of somewhat focus on is also a chip on the shoulder. I feel it goes a long way when you have someone who's got a chip on the shoulder, something to prove. And it could be anything. It could be that. And that's why I spend a lot of time when I'm meeting founders, just getting
Could be
to know
that
them.
somebody told you they can't build a business in Saskatoon.
So, I mean, I spend a lot of time like just getting to know them and be like, what's your story? Like, you know, how did you grow up? Like, where did you grow up? Like, siblings and whatnot. Just to get a sense of like, why are they doing this? What's the purpose? Like, what, you know, what's the end goal? So, just the usual VC diligence, but more spend a lot of time on competitive advantage, as I said, and the people.
Okay, Lisa, I'm going to put it the other side now. You've started a lot of companies and you've been an investor too, so it's not really fair. But what do you look for when you're looking for an investor and you're starting a company? What do you look for in a VC?
So, I mean, it's really similar to what you said. I think it all comes down to people first. You know, is that someone I can work with? Is that someone who will challenge me, make me better? And then I also really look for connections as well. And they have to have a certain level of tech capability because that's really important, obviously. But I think, you know, I think for me, and if you're not maybe on one of the coasts, like in Boston, New York, or San Francisco, the connections that they can bring to you, as well as the capital, are just as important. It depends on the business, but for, you know, if you're not right in the mix, I think that that's really important that you kind of move outside your region and your area as well.
That's awesome. Now, I don't know how much time we have left, but I wanted to give some time to the audience because there's not a lot of opportunities for you guys to get to talk to folks like this who've got this much experience. So I didn't want to. Does anybody have any questions they'd want to ask? If you do, just put your hand up. Come on, somebody's got a question. Come on, you know Jack. What would Jack ask? Here, ask a question. I'm putting him on the spot hard.
Sure. Now I got to think of a question.
You guys better get ready.
All right. From the BDC angle, and I want to go back to something you said earlier about leads in the prairies and kind of bringing. I'll talk about this. Bringing outside investors into the company. I'd like to hear more about kind of success stories around that of other investors bringing in. Like, how did that actually show up day to day? How did that really affect that startup?
I think one good example I can think of outside of Vendasta is Milk Movement in Halifax. I think the moment they got that outside of region investor, they kind of accelerated. And the reason was that the strategic value that an outside investor could bring in, not only from customer interaction or go-to-market, but also from a talent perspective, which is very important. It just opens up the mind. I was just talking to Lisa before this that having a strong team player come into your team just elevates everyone's game. And we have seen this internally within our teams as well, and I've seen this in multiple startups. Like, if you hire one rock solid, like a rock star employee, it automatically elevates everyone's game, or they churn, and which is in the long run good for your company.
And I think the other thing is investors, I mean, you can speak to it better than I can, but they're co-investors. You know, there's some co-investors I'm sure you invest in, and wow, if you guys are in that deal, if someone else you did a deal with in a particular company is like, wow, maybe I should take a look at that, and that kind of raises it as well.
And then on that, you know, we have co-investors that we have invested in the past with that trust me to the extent that if I'm like writing a check to a company, leading around, they would be willing to come in based on my diligence. And there are investors that I know are willing to take a look at my memo and make that decision pretty quickly if I'm leading the round.
All right, I see I got another question back here from our very own CFO who spent well, you're going to have to give a little introduction there.
A little introduction. Well, that's embarrassing. So I'm Brian Shelton. I'm the CFO for Vendasta. I joined earlier this year. I came off of RealPage. I don't know if you guys know the name, but it was about a $1.4 billion annual revenue company that we sold for $10.2 billion to Thoma Bravo. So I was a CFO for that for the last 3 years, and had a lot of fun. I was with them for about 8 years and did a whole bunch of M&A, and I'll leave my background at that. So I'm super excited to join Vendasta and be along for the journey and take them to the next level. So I didn't know I was going to be asked for the background, but I guess my question, when I think about coming up here to Saskatoon and Saskatchewan and think about what everybody's doing, Safe's got the money, so everybody should just be running to Safe.
Running to him.
Right? I mean, like, I
Running,
don't know what you guys
running.
are doing, but you guys need to be, like, running to Safe. Because, you know, he's got a new fund and is looking to invest in Saskatchewan companies. So congratulations to you, Safe. That's a big deal. I guess my question is, in thinking about the people in the room, when they're thinking about their ideas and what they want to do and how they want to raise the next funds, how do they even get like in touch with you? Like, what is the process as they're starting to make money? They're starting to say, hey, I got a product that takes traction. I now have something that I think I can make something with. How do they start reaching out to people like you who can help take them to the next level? Like, what is the process?
Uh-oh. Thanks, Brian.
There's two school of thoughts in this, and I'm not yet decided where I belong. So there's one school of thought that believes in cold outreach, that believes that there has to be just cold outreach, no references, nothing. I met an investor last month in Regina, actually, and they have a rule that they do not take any warm intros at all. Only cold intros, just reach out to their website. Everything goes through one top of the funnel, you know. On the other hand, what works for us a lot of times is the warm intros. And the second school of thought believes that the warm intros is your founder's first job, is to get in front of someone who can get in front of someone else here, right? So if you cannot do that as a founder, then you are failing at your job to begin with. So there are two schools of thoughts if you think about it. So I don't know where do I stand. So having said that, warm intros work. So if you know anyone that know me, have them reach out through them. That's great. But if not, then there's a cold outreach method to get to us, which is if you have a company you want to talk to us, the email is seed@bdc.ca. So send out your pitch deck, your ideas, whatever, and we'll take a look. We'll get back to you very soon. But if not, I'm on LinkedIn. If you reach out to me on LinkedIn, I'm always responsive. At least I try to be. I've been bombarded with a lot of inbounds over the last couple of weeks since we made the announcement. So a bit slow right now, but hopefully we'll catch up over the next couple of weeks. But yeah.
Hey, Lisa, how did you get your first VCs when you started your companies? How did you get your first funding?
Well, so the three founders put their own money in. That's one advantage of being older. So they put their own money in. And then I can't tell you, even though we all had track records, one headed up a huge division at Oracle. The other one was a chief architect at Oracle. There's no like perfect recipe to it. And you have to kiss a lot of dogs or whatever they say, dogs or fish or whatever, to do it. But it is pretty remarkable. You have to have a lot of resiliency and a lot of drive and be a great storyteller, in my opinion, to raise money. Storytelling, like the woman Christina with the vet, that was a great story, because she lives it. She could, she could actually bring it to life. And so I love storytelling as a VC. But I do have some incredible stories. Like there was one guy in Boulder, went to lunch with him, okay? And I'll get to this about like throwing off cash into the community, left lunch, and before I got back to my office, his admin pinged me. He was investing $250,000. First time I had met him. So you just never know. And you kind of like...
Be nice at lunch.
Be nice at lunch. I thought it was another wasted opportunity. It's lonely as an entrepreneur, I think, but you got to just keep plugging away because you never know when it's going to come about. And honestly, have a bazillion kind of, forks or sporks or whatever in the fire, because when you have a lot of things going, it starts to create synergy. And I think the other thing that's really a big deal, I'm a big advocate of being in a community kind of giving before you get. And as other people sell their companies and they're successful, they invest in others. And it's a really nice flywheel once you get going here. And just by the turnout tonight, you can see the interest that's here in Saskatoon.
I do want to talk about what kind of traction you need to actually get an investment. Before that, when we started Vendasta, we came from a company called Point Two, and we left to start Vendasta, and we had a little bit of our own money, but essentially what we did was we went to a company called Ritchie Brothers, heavy equipment company, and got a contract to build software for them. So we were doing contract consulting work, and we got, I think, $300,000. And actually, the CFO that I convinced to make that deal got teased mercilessly for years about like, oh, you loaned those guys $300,000. But we took that money and we built the software, and at the same time, we built a business plan and worked to get investment. But back then, you needed traction. You need to have you can't just have an idea. I think there's a lot of companies now that have an idea, maybe don't deserve to really be a company, and they can find a way to get funding. But you had to have a business, you had to have revenue, you had to be able to eat and survive on your own, and then you could get some investment. How is it now? Like, is it possible? And I guess maybe I should know, but can you get investment just on an idea, or do you have to have traction?
I mean, it depends. So if you are a repeat founder, have had a successful couple of exits or even one exit, I think you can still raise money on an idea. Having said that, it's never easy to raise money. You need to show some traction. So even for us, for example, I'll speak for the BDC seed fund, the way we look at it. For example, if we're looking at a pre-seed company, we don't care about revenue as much. What we care about then is maybe you need to show some sort of a pilot project that you're working on. And that pilot alone should be able to show me some sort of data for me to be able to see that there's a path through product market fit. Like there's some data that gives me confidence that if the problem you're trying to solve, it's actually working or not. When it comes to seed, like a pure seed round, we're looking at metrics such as revenue metrics, like growth, how much are you, like the team, we're just trying to dig in deeper on other stuff. So idea, just a pitch deck, still able to do it, but you got to be a repeat founder or something.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Lisa, anything to add to that?
No, I think
No.
that's...
So I think we're getting ready to announce the winners of this pitch deck, and so if there's any other question, otherwise we're gonna cede the floor and get off this hot stage and get up here and let the winners shine. So thank you guys very much for coming tonight. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. Next year, I promise, we'll have our air conditioning done, because our CFO now knows that he shouldn't have stopped that. He's like, but it's winter, and I'm like, yeah, it's winter, but it gets hot in here. All right, so thank you very much, and let's get the winners up here. All right, thank you.
All right, everyone, we're going to be starting in 2 minutes. As soon as you take your seats, we'll start. Jesse and Mike, get up here. All right, everyone, also the bar is closing in 2 minutes. So everyone, take your seats.
If you have tickets or you want another drink, get them right now because the license is expiring shortly.
Is it because of the license? Is that why? Yeah. Immigrate. You put some in Immigrate? Wait, they don't have them? So they can...
All right, everyone, we're going to start.
We're going to get going here. Everybody, if you can take your seats.
Toughest deliberation we've ever had. Sorry it took so long.
That was intense. That's why it took so long. Appreciate your patience. All right, everyone, welcome back. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to quickly run through a few more statements and then get to the presentation.
Can you move us down so they can see the donate thing? Because we want to have lots of drinks at our after party. So please donate to the bar tab. I'm putting in $100. Anybody else going to put in some money into the bar tab?
I'll put in $100.
I'll put in $100.
Joe Gill's good for some money. He's going to throw some into the tab. Look at that. Anybody else? Who's throwing in some money for the tab? At Startup TNT, our motto is have fun, make friends, build companies. And so what a better way to make friends than to buy drinks for them, right? And so that's what we do at Startup TNT. Every time we host an event, there's an opportunity for you to buy some drinks for your fellow peers in the ecosystem. So you donate to the bar tab, and then TNT just has an open bar when we go there up until we hit the amount that was donated. So if you can throw in some money, we'll take cash, or you can donate directly to Cheers at Startup TNT. The other really cool part is we have a competition amongst all the regions over the course of a year to see which region can raise the most on their bar tab. And at present, Saskatchewan is winning, but Calgary tonight has been donating a ton of money, so they've been coming up on us very quickly. So if we wanted to win by the end of this year, let's make sure we donate to that bar tab, and let's have a good time at the after party so we can keep this party going all night long, because we have some amazing companies to announce tonight. Because we can announce, or at least right now, that we're going to be doing multiple deals tonight. No, I was expecting some round of applause. We're doing multiple deals tonight. Yeah, there we go.
One more reminder, share your memories using the QR code, Memory Keeper.
It works better if you're on one of those screens on the side, and the QR code doesn't work so great on this one.
Okay, Jesse, a few points about the
Oh
VC
yeah,
fund.
something we haven't mentioned yet. TNT has a VC fund that is doing our first close very soon, and we are still actively raising. We give $50K to the winner on top of the $5K investments that came from the pool of investors that pre-committed. So there's an additional $50K from the VC fund, and then we provide the companies with 2 venture partners that help them move from where they are now through Series A and beyond, and hopefully can help them scale all the way to exit.
Awesome. And now for the thank yous. We couldn't make this evening possible without our summit partners and sponsors. So a huge round of applause, everyone, for all our partners and sponsors for the summits for the last few years. And a huge thank you to Vendasta and the Vendasta's team for hosting us tonight, to let us use their space. To the AV team, Shane and his buddies in the booth, making it all happen. Our ops team, Jonah, they're behind the scenes, like literally behind the scenes. They're in Edmonton, controlling what you're seeing here. Jonah, Winnie, Mandy, and the ops team is there. And of course, our stage manager for tonight, Carol Tebe, Executive Arrangements, who's been helping to make the evening run smooth. And we want to thank the investors, the backbones of the summit, for all the work they've done and put into the last 8 weeks.
Hundreds of hours of due diligence was done over the last 8 weeks. Many, many meetings, right? Late nights, early mornings, looking through data rooms, scouring through financial documents. It's a lot of work to determine who the best company is. And as you could see from the 5 companies on stage, it was a very, very difficult decision.
And lastly, one more time, a huge thank you to the founders. The reason we're all here tonight. So everyone, round of applause to all 5 companies and their founders for all the work they've done.
It's seriously, it is so hard to come on stage and do this in front of a whole audience. It is certainly not easy, and yeah, pretty incredible, eh, Mike?
It's pretty incredible, and man, that was a deliberation room. This is my 5th summit now, and I think that's the most intense deliberation room we've had so
That was
far.
the toughest.
That was so hard. Oh my God.
Okay, well,
All right.
now, for the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's get a drum roll, please. The winner of Summit 8 for Startup TNT is Fidu!
Fidu! Come on up, Blaine!
Blaine!
Get up here! Oh. All right, and we don't just have one deal, as I mentioned. We have multiple deals happening tonight. So it's my pleasure to announce that we are also doing deals in CreditGurus, Immigrate, and Waggle Mail tonight. Come on up. Get up here. As the winner, while they slowly make their way up here, you want to say a few words, Blaine?
Yeah, can somebody hold my drink? Let's start there. Okay, I have, anybody who knows me around here knows I've been in this ecosystem for a long time. I have a lot of people to thank, so hopefully you have drinks. I love you too, Dirk. All right, the first person I need to, I'm stealing this mic for like an hour. First person I need to thank is my partner, Jen. She's at home, hopefully watching, I don't know. She put our kids to bed tonight, so it's fine if she's in the hot tub. I have to thank my kids for putting up with daddy working all the time, and those are hard days. So anybody else doing that, same thing, my heart goes to you. Kim, my co-founder, she's on the live stream. She might go on the screen at some point in time. She's amazing. Wouldn't be here today without her by any stretch. Yes. Kim's fiance, Sean, who also deals with the same stuff that my partner, Jen, deals with. Everybody from Collabs, like, where are you guys? I would not be here by any form if it wasn't for Collabs.
Gotta say, we really appreciate Collabs too, with a top 5 that is entirely Collabs companies. That's a testament to how much Collabs does for this community.
We could have seriously can't do it without collabs. They're huge.
Second last is the TNT team. Thank you. All the investors. And then the other founders. Like, I admire every single person on the stage and those who aren't. Like, meeting everybody, you've pushed me. I appreciate it. So thank you.
Say a couple words.
I don't know how I got here. This is amazing. I'm just collabs again. I would not be here if it wasn't for collabs. I think I competed in co-launch, completely blanked. I failed. I didn't make it into the program. Somehow made it back. Yeah, so I'm just super passionate about what I'm doing, and I'm quit my super stable job as a vet to become a tech entrepreneur. So.
All right.
I want to thank my entire team, because without them, nothing happens. And all the feedback and all the help that everybody who, it's just so wonderful to have such a strong team behind me. My partner, Dirk, our customer success, marketing, our COO, Michael, like everybody in our company helps me be better. And so thank you so much for everything. Of course, collabs, because all your special guidance and connecting us with the right people to tell us when we're not doing the right thing and give us the hard feedback is very, very valuable. So thank you to them. Thank you, my family. Thank you, my children. Thank you, everyone.
I'd like to thank everybody as well, especially from Startup, TNT, Collabs, people like Joe Gill, everybody that supports the ecosystem here in Saskatchewan. I'm a West Coaster born and raised, and coming out here to the Flatlands to see an amazing tech community and just the innovation that's coming out of Saskatchewan is overwhelming, and I'm just honored to be with every one of you on this stage.
All right. That's amazing. We couldn't do it without the founders here, and that leads us to thanking every one of you for coming out tonight. TNT is a pan-prairie experiment, and we get feedback every time we talk to our friends in Alberta and Manitoba and across the country that there is just something special about the Saskatchewan tech community, and it has to do with everybody who's in the room tonight and everybody who's supported these founders and everybody who's going to be on stage next. So thanks, everybody, for coming out. The bar is closing, but we are headed to Congress, so we'll be able to celebrate into the wee hours of the night.
And it'll be far less hot than it is currently in this room. If we could get all the folks that were volunteering tonight and working, and all the investors with TNT that want to identify themselves, please come on stage so we can take some photos with you with our deals. That'd be fantastic. Let's have a great time tonight. Let's party. Cheers!
Cheers! Some music.
Woo! Oh, look, there's Kim. Hey, Kim! Woo! Let's kick on the music. Let's go.
That's why I made.
But I'm an East Ender.
Hi.
Yeah, how are you? Oh, where? I lived in Parkers.
Okay, so
gravel road.
Oh yeah, it's not now.
No.
Do you ever get down to it?
Yeah, my parents.
Oh, okay.
My
Let's go
mom,
there.
my grandparents built that way.
Okay. So yeah,
I go there all
I'm
the
in
time.
Windsor Park.
Oh, nice.
I
Yeah.
lived in Wood
I'll
Meadows.
mark it
I
down
lived
so we
in
don't
University
forget.
Park.
Go,
University
go.
Park East. Yeah, I'm in East End.
You're an East Ender. Nice. That's awesome. Oh, we need to get to know each other.
Yeah.
Here, I'll give you my card.
I would give you one. I don't have
Yeah,
one.
just text.
Yeah, for sure.
And if I'm ever, I go to Regina all the time. But,
I'm always there.
maybe 5 weeks.
I know Walsh quite well. Did my own thing for a while, and Innovation Place.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay.
So I ran Innovation Place in Regina. leasing products. That was me.
Cool. That's why you know Wall Street.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Are we up there too?